I think I need to saturate my vocal track a lot more, and I think that's gonna give me a lot more quality. If you're wondering why all music producers keep talking about something called as saturation over and over again, then you're in the right video. I'm gonna show you what saturation is and how it'll affect your song. And if you're new here, I'm Florina Jain, otherwise known as Flow of Music. And if you like music production related tutorials, then you need to subscribe to my channel. So let's learn about saturation. I have this plugin called as a test oscillator. This is a stock plugin only. You can even find it under utility, test oscillator. This is what happens when you turn it on. If you want to know what that sound is and why it's occurring, basically it's because of that 1000 Hz frequency that I have selected over here. Every frequency has its own tone to it. So frequencies are nothing but those sine waves. One completed sine wave means 1 Hz. In 1 second. If you have 10 completed cycles in a second, then it's 10 Hz. Now for 1000 Hz, the amount of cycles completed is 1000 and the related sound is this. So I'm going to open an EQ plugin right below that. I'm temporarily muting the track. So directly there is a 1000 Hz signal coming at this point. Now if you think about what saturation is, it's basically adding harmonics to your song. Now if you don't know what harmonics is, just have a simple definition like this. When you hold a chord like C, E, G, if C is your melody, E and G are going to harmonize that chord. Playing them together is going to really strengthen that melody. And even though you're not playing the same C again, you're playing something else, you're playing E. Still, it's going to, in a way, harmonize your melody, right? That's a small definition on what saturation is. You're going to add sounds that's going to saturate the main sound. It's basically like adding different frequencies that saturate the main element of your song. Now, when we talk about saturation in terms of production and plugins, we have different plugins that can emulate that effect, but not exactly like a chord. If I have a lead vocal and I want to make it a little better and brighter, I can do this process called saturation with certain plugins, which will not only do the change, like for example, an EQ change. It's not just doing the EQ change, it's also adding extra frequencies neighboring to that area. So if you've heard of these terms called warm saturation or a bright saturation, it means I'm having additional frequencies added in the mid frequencies or in the high frequencies. I am not deliberately doing it like, using a knob and selecting the frequency and doing it. The plugins will be designed to give you that frequency. I'll show you a live example of saturation. Right now, I have given only 1000 Hz. The signal is coming only at 1000 Hz. I told you harmonics, addition of frequencies. So I'm going to saturate this signal. So I am going to add this plugin. Under multi-effects, you have fat effects. Choose that. Now watch what happens. Just because this 1000 Hz is a little annoying, I'm just going to change this frequency to 500 Hz for now. I'm going to turn the plugin on and we're going to move these 3 knobs. I chose soft saturation on all 3 knobs. So this is how 500 Hz sounds like. Now watch what happens. When I added saturation, did you see all these extra signals coming in? Now, I didn't select that I wanted a signal at 1500 or 2500. No, we didn't select that. We just increased saturation and the tone itself changed. See. Without saturation, volume itself went down. With saturation, So all these extra additions that came inside the signal is because of saturation. It's harmonically clouding up the track in a way where the quality actually increases. Instead of just having one fundamental signal, you're now saturating it, adding a little bit of harmonics here and there, and therefore you're gonna get a better clarity. This is what mix engineers and mastering engineers mean by saturation. And there are so many plugins that do this. There are EQ plugins that give you that saturation effect. There are compressor plugins. There are so many plugins. If you want to talk about stock plugins that do this, there's this whole section called as a vintage EQ collection, and all these three saturate your track. So this is what we mean by saturation. In every step of your production process, you actually need to saturate your different tracks in order to bring up the clarity. If not, it's going to sound a little plain. But again, if you saturate it too much, you saw that it's increasing volume. So it might even get your signal distorted. So a right level of saturation is needed to bring quality to your tracks and to therefore elevate your track sounding as well. So I hope you understood what saturation means. If you have any doubts, comment them below. And if you want to see me using saturation plugins on a track, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video on that. Thank you so much for watching. Keep making music and I'll see you guys in another video.